It's time to lose the day. It's time to head to the bill. Where the rhythm is hot and the music is real. You can do it without love. Swallow rules, but everyone alive needs the same rules. So time to raise some hell and get on down. We're going down, down, underground. Down, down, we're going down, down, down. Just to hear that sound. Down, down, we're gonna dance so close, feel the breath on your skin. Close as I walk. We're going down, down, underground.
Memphis, Tennessee, 1950s. Meet Huey Calhoun, loosely based on real-life white Southern disc jockey Dewey Phillips, and his mission to bring the music of blues and soul to a white Southern audience. Huey passionately challenges social barriers and norms of the times, fights prejudice from within his own family, and continues to maintain that music and love transcends race.
Theatrical performances often deal with challenging, difficult, or even downright ugly moments in humanity's past. There's a reason we choose to revisit these difficult moments in times. Can you talk with us about why we choose to do this?
We usually choose to do this because it's important to highlight what actually happened, and it's important to recognize what struggles we as a people have been through in the past just to get where we are today. So it might be a little bit triggering, or it brings a lot of feelings to the forefront of yourself. So in doing so, we can show people how it might have been like and how it might be today as opposed to back then.
This?
I feel as if we choose to revisit history to show others how we shouldn't repeat it at all, because it could just be destructive to the people that the history surrounds, and it can just destroy society entirely.
Today we are with Dwayne. Dwayne, who do you play in this production?
I play the black presenting DJ and the Reverend Hobson.
Okay, let's start at the beginning. What do you think the author's message is, and why was this piece written? What is it trying to say to the audience?
I think it's trying to talk about like how things were in the past and how the U.S. and Memphis struggled with racial integration in the 1950s and how some of that can definitely still apply to today.
Okay. What has it been like for you to portray this particular character in Memphis?
For me, it kind of came naturally. Like, I have to do a lot of like lifting people up and hyping them up, and I already like doing that, and so it just came naturally, and I enjoy it. And I think that it was definitely something very important for what was going on in the past with the characters, that they needed someone like that. So I'm happy I could play that.
Okay, thank you for your time.
It's been challenging. It's been a very lengthy process, and it's been very rough because I don't agree with any of the ideals that Mr. Simmons has. But I know deep down that it's really important to portray this, and that someone needs to show that this stuff happened, especially considering the fact that society has a habit of pushing this stuff away and pretending like it never happened. So people like me and other people in the cast need to play the roles we're playing so we don't make the same mistakes and we don't just pretend like this never happened, because it did.
And it's also been interesting to portray like their style, whether it's the way they talk or the way that they do their hair or dress. I'm an ensemble character, so I do dancing in the background and I sing in the background too. So
Hi, Tiernan. Who is the character you portray in Memphis?
I play Clara and White Ensemble. It's quite difficult, actually. I don't quite agree with the ideology of Clara, and her views on other people in Memphis are really, really bad. So it was very uncomfortable at first, but I understand that I have to shine light on the harsh realities of what happened in the 50s, and that even though I don't act like that, people back then did, and we can't push it away or hide the fact that that happened. We can't ignore the fact that people were treated poorly for the color of their skin and other factors that played into that, was that white people like Clara were just completely, because I don't want to sugarcoat it, they were just terrible. Like, it was a horrible thing to put people through, but they grew up like that and they thought it was right. So even though I don't agree with it, I know that I have to be able to act like that so I can show people that this is what really happened.
Thank you. That was a great answer. What else have you learned throughout this process that you would like to share with our audience before we begin the show?
This musical has taught me that there was so much black trauma back then, but it wasn't just black trauma. It was also black people had fun. There was merriment in our society. It wasn't just our trauma.
Thank you for your time, Joy. Have a nice one. What has it been like for you to portray this particular character in Memphis?
So I'm a part of the older generation, as in like the people who were already in like mid-30s, mid-40s, possibly 50s as well. But most of them were racist. There were the ones that weren't as racist as others, and not even racist at all. But we cannot deny that a lot of them were racist at that time. So I don't agree with them. It was very uncomfortable at first of having to portray these characters, but it's still important because it shows the part of history that we had and how it's molded the time now. Plus, we've come a long way since then. Still, it took some steps backwards, but we're still going forwards at points. But yeah.
Thank you for your time, Ezra.
You're welcome.
Memphis, Tennessee, 1950s. Land of rock and roll and time of segregation. But maybe, just maybe, this story will help us see a glimmer of hope that music can truly be the great unifier that can bring us together despite our differences.